Alrighty, guys, we're coming off yet another winning day of tickets on my website. And that's going to put us now at 14-1 in our last 15 board member tier package bets on that site. And of course, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, if you want to see a video breakdown of every single one of my personal sports bets here today, you can do that right now by becoming a board member on my website. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to my NBA free pick video here today for Monday, March 13th, 2023. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend, and hey, let's get this week started off right. Of course, my name is Brock Page, and I've been dishing out free sports picks right here on YouTube since 2016. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And once again, guys, I'm 14-1 of my last 15 board member tier package bets on that site. And not only do board members get access to my board member podcast every single day, you also get access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day until April 1st. It's a full access, all-inclusive membership. You may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. What I do on my website is I actually share with you which one of these free picks on these videos that I'm actually betting on personally. I currently have over 540 members who are signed up and active on my website right now. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the Pacers at the Pistons, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Indiana's -3, totals 227. And even though the Pacers are inundated with injuries, they're facing a Detroit squad who hasn't won a game since February 10th. They lost their last 11 straight since that win. They also have the worst record in the NBA right now. And they've gone a dismal 0-12 in divisional contests. Now they're facing an Indy team who won 5 out of their last 7 despite their injuries. Jordan Nwora, he averages double-digit points per contest, and he also makes nearly 50% of his field goals. So even though Nwora is not particularly a household name, they're going to have to rely on him to get the job done. Another guy is Jalen Smith, who's grabbing over 5 rebounds a game and averages just about double-digit points per contest. Now, injury-wise, once again, the Pacers are banged up right now. McConnell, Turner, Halliburton, Mathurin, and Brown, they're all sitting out, not going to suit up. And even Buddy Hield's banged up a little bit right now as well. He's questionable with a foot. But I'll tell you what, the Pistons are equally as decimated on the other side. Burks, Bogey, Ivy, Stewart, and Bagley, they are all out for them. Now, when it comes to the total, Detroit saw overs recently against the likes of Washington, Chicago, and this very Indy team. Meanwhile, the Pacers on the other side, they saw their last 4 straight get over the total, 7-2 to the over in their last 9. Give me the Pacers -3 over 227. Next game, Grizzlies, Mavericks, 7:30 p.m. East. Dallas is -1, totals 224.5. And even though the Mavs are going to work without Luka Doncic, they do play their best basketball at home. When it comes to defensive play, these guys have been real tough to score against in the second half. And speaking of defensive play, out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings with each other, the Mavs held Memphis to just 101 points a game. Now, Christian Wood has a bunch of blocks on the season this year and also grabs over 6 defensive boards a game. Now, Wood's currently scoring 17 points per contest. Meanwhile, Josh Green, he's drilling over 41% of his three-pointers. Now, they're facing a Memphis team on the other side who plays their worst basketball away from home. These guys got the W in just 12 out of 33 road games, and they have a tough time grabbing rebounds. These guys are in the bottom 10 in defensive boards per game. Now, the Grizzlies also tend to implode late in games as well. They're actually allowing more fourth-quarter points a game on the road than any other team in the league except for one. Now, when it comes to the injury list, Morant, Williams, and LaRavia are still out for Memphis. Obviously, Morant not injured, but he is not going to be suiting up anytime soon. Meanwhile, for Dallas on the other side, Luka Doncic is out. Kyrie Irving's also nursing a sore foot, so keep an eye on him. But regardless, I think Dallas, as good as they are at home, plus their defensive play, I still think they're in a pretty decent, I won't say good spot, but pretty decent spot here. Now, total-wise, the Mavs saw their last 3 straight stay under. Meanwhile, Memphis went 80% to the under in their last 10. Give me Dallas -1, under 224.5. Next game, T-Wolves Hawks, 7:30 p.m. East. Atlanta's -6, totals 244. Atlanta failed to cover in 5 out of their last 8. They're having a tough time grabbing defensive boards, especially at home. These guys are in the bottom 5 in defensive boards per game in their own building. They also have one of the higher defensive field goal percentages in the Eastern Conference. Now they're facing a Minnesota team who's amongst the best shooting teams in the Western Conference. These guys are making more three-pointers on the road than most clubs in the West. They also have a higher offensive field goal percentage on the road than any other team in the NBA except for one. Anthony Edwards leads the roster in steals per contest. He's also the club leader in points per game. Meanwhile, Jaden McDaniels scores just about a dozen points a game himself. He also does a nice job shooting from long range. Now, injury-wise, Bogey's questionable for the Hawks. Meanwhile, for the T-Wolves, Rivers and Gobert are questionable. Jalen Noel is out. When it comes to the total, Minnesota saw overs against the likes of Brooklyn, Sacramento, and Dallas. Meanwhile, the Hawks saw 4 out of their last 6 in the State Farm Arena get over the total themselves. Minnesota +6, over 244. Next game, Jazz Heat, 7:30 East. Miami's -7.5, totals 226. And for a team laying multiple baskets in this spot here, the Heat, they've certainly struggled covering the point spread recently. They failed to cover in 7 out of their last 10, and they're currently the lowest scoring team in the league. And when it comes to playing at home this year, Miami covered the point spread in just 10 out of 35 contests in South Beach. Now they're facing a Utah club on the other side who covered the number in their last 3 straight themselves, and they certainly have a little issue getting on the scoreboard. Utah is currently in the top 5 in the NBA in points per contest while traveling. And of course, Lauri Markkanen, he drills over 40% of his three-pointers and leads the Jazz in scoring. Now, Kelly Olynyk knocks down 40% of his shots from outside the perimeter. And when it comes to the injury report, Jordan Clarkson's day-to-day, Colin Sexton's still out. Meanwhile, for Miami, Lowry and Martin are questionable. Zeller and Robinson are not going to suit up for them. And when it comes to the number, the Heat saw 4 out of their last 6 get over the total. Meanwhile, Utah on the other side, they are 24-11 to the over in their road trips. Give me Utah +7.5, over 226. Next contest, Celtics, Rockets, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Boston's -12.5, totals 231 and a hook. And even though this is a pretty large number to cover on the road here, the Celtics are facing a Houston team who's absolutely terrible. These guys have the worst record in the Western Conference, and they're the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA. You know, this is a team who could maybe lose to Kansas or Gonzaga. I always hate that comparison because it's no, professional athletes are so much better than college athletes. But man, this is like an all-time bad Houston team. And I don't know if I said it, but no real surprise here. The Rockets are scoring fewer points a game than any other team in the West. Now they're facing a Boston club who plays some really tough defense on the road. When it comes to offensive production, these guys are a top 5 scoring team. Jason Tatum scores a team-best 30 points a game along with 8 boards. Meanwhile, Malcolm Brogdon knocks down nearly 46% of his long balls. Now, injury-wise, Pritchard and Williams are out for the Celtics. Alpi Sengun's questionable for Houston. When it comes to the scoring, Houston saw unders against the likes of Brooklyn, Memphis, and Golden State. Meanwhile, Boston saw 7 out of their last 10 road games against the Western Conference stay under the total themselves. Give me Boston -12.5, under 231 and a hook. Oops. Next game, it is going to be Bucks, Kings, 10 o'clock East. Milwaukee's -1.5, totals 244 and a hook. Now, for some reason, the Bucks are having a tough time shooting from the field, especially on the road. These guys are in the bottom 5 in offensive field goal percentage while traveling. When it comes to rebounding the basketball, the Bucks are in the bottom 3 in the league in defensive boards away from home. Now, they're facing a Sacramento team who's grabbing more defensive boards a game at home than any other team in the entire league except for one. And when it comes to scoring, well, these guys are leading the entire NBA in points per game. Now, De'Aaron Fox, he's scoring over 25 points per contest, along with 4 boards, 6 assists. Meanwhile, Domantas Sabonis, he averages nearly 20 points a night himself. He also leads the NBA in rebounds per game. When it comes to the injury report, the Kings are relatively healthy at the moment. No significant scratches to report to you, at least as of right now. Meanwhile, for the Bucks, Giannis and Wesley Matthews are questionable for them. Keep an eye on their status, as those guys may not suit up here tonight. Now, total-wise, Milwaukee saw overs in 4 out of their last 6. Meanwhile, Sacramento's 22-12 to the over in the Golden One Center. Give me Boston minus 12.5, under 231 and a hook. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final game. It is going to be Suns at the Warriors, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Now, Golden State's minus 4, totals 236. And, guys, I got to tell you, both teams have some incredibly positive qualities that make this game really tough to handicap. Now, starting off with Golden State, they've been outstanding shooting from long distance. They've been great shooting the 3-ball for years now. Meanwhile, the Suns on the other side, they're actually in the top 5 in guarding the 3-pointer on the road. And out of both teams' last 9 contests, respectively, both clubs got the W 6 times, and they covered the point spread in a bunch of those matchups. So we're looking at 2 teams here that are playing some pretty good basketball right now and covering point spreads. Now, total-wise, we do have some conflicting data there as well. For Phoenix, they saw overs in their last 4 straight, but for Golden State, they are 60% to the under in the Chase Center this season. So if you want to see whether I'm making a play on the money line total or against the point spread in this one, the only way you can do that is to sign up for my all-inclusive, full-access board member package on my website. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Give me the Indiana Pacers minus 3, over 227. Dallas Mavericks minus 1, under 224.5. I'm 14-1 on my last 15 board member tier package bets on my website. And if you want to see a video breakdown of every single one of my personal bets, there's only one way to do that, and that's to join my full access, all-inclusive board member package at patreon.com/BrockPage. Link is in my bio. Minnesota Timberwolves plus 6, over 244. Utah Jazz plus 7.5, over 226. Boston Celtics minus 12.5, under 231 and a hook. And sorry, let's do that quick pick recap again. Sorry, I confused myself. Sorry, in my own head. Let's try it again. Give me Indiana minus 3, over 227. Dallas Mavericks minus 1, under 224.5. Hey guys, I'm 14-1 on my last 15 board member tier package bets on my website. And if you want to see a video breakdown of every single one of my personal bets, there's only one way to do that, and that's to join my full access, all-inclusive board member package at patreon.com/BrockPage. Link is in my bio. Minnesota Timberwolves plus 6, over 244. Utah Jazz plus 7.5, over 226. Boston Celtics minus 12.5, under 231 and a hook. And unfortunately, I have no free pick for you in the Phoenix Golden State game. That's being featured as my board member tier package bet.